Hey there, and I've got a question for you. Have you ever wondered what makes the color brown brown? So how do you decide or figure out when they may have a magic marker, what components make this up to make it the color brown? We're going to find that out today. We're going to use a method called chromatography. All right, that's a big word, but it's a way that we can separate out different chemicals and parts of ink. And what that allows us to do is to be able to find out what components and things are in our different types of ink. Now, police officers or forensic scientists can use this method, and as well as other scientists can use this type of method to break down and figure out the components of something. And we can break those components down because this marker is a little bit different than other companies that make their markers. And so at a crime scene, if they find something that was written with a special type of ink, they can actually figure out what type of pen or marker that was used by using this method. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some very easy components. We're going to take a coffee filter, scissors, and a glass of water. All right, that's all you really need. And if you have a clear glass, that's better because in that way you can see how this happens. And we're going to demonstrate how that happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our coffee filter and we're just going to cut this into strips about 1 inch wide. And that's real easy to do. Neatness doesn't count. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's not the important part of this. So easy strip. And then take your marker and just create a line on that marker or on your coffee filter. All right. You're going to fold this over so that the whole coffee, so that the filter does not fall into the cup all the way. And you may have to tear off a little bottom piece here to make sure it all fits. So then we're going to take our glass and we're going to dip this in. So you make sure that your marker isn't all the way, make sure it's not in the water. So make sure there's some room for the coffee filter to go up and that it is over here so it doesn't fall into the water. All right. So what's going to happen is this is called wicking. So the coffee filter is going to wick up that moisture. All that water is going to travel up into the coffee filter. And what that will do is it'll start pulling down materials that the marker is made out of. So it's really fascinating to see. So within the color brown, we're going to find out what kind of components and how many different components there might be in this one marker to make this one color. All right, so now we take this out and we can see the color separation. But not only the different colors, but the different components that were made of that ink have separated out. As we discussed earlier, when we do this, the lighter materials tend to run further down. So these light colors, these pinks that you see, are lighter materials. Then up in the top, the darker materials, they tend to stay up on the top. So that's one way we're able to separate out components to ink. And there's other methods that are used by scientists and even by police officers and law enforcement officers to be able to use what's called forensics. And that is a way to deconstruct something to get to the root of something. All right, now wasn't that cool? I think that's pretty cool. So you can see, that our results from our first marker was, there's pinks in there, right? And so I see some oranges, and we can see that there's lots of different material that this marker has in within its ink. I did another one because I'm curious, what other markers do markers behave differently? So I used a different brand. That's the important thing, and maybe colors, right? You can try different colors. I tried a different brand. This time I used a Crayola marker, And I did the same thing. And with purple, I didn't see much of a different kind of colors of purple, but I can see that the different materials of the ink separated out. And then I did a Sharpie, right? This was interesting. So I let this sit for a long time and it really didn't move much. So I let this sit for about 10 minutes. So my thought is that I let the Sharpie dry on this, and maybe I shouldn't let it dry. So maybe next time I try this, I'm going to make sure that the ink is still wet on the paper and see if it separates out that way. So have fun, try different types of inks, try different types of markers, and see what happens when you do that. So our character trait that we want to focus on today as we're learning about this is to be friendly, right? So when I think of chromatography, I think of usually forensic scientists who work with police departments and police officers who protect and serve us, and how important it is for them to be friendly to those that they are protecting and for us to be friendly back, right? That is a great character trait to be friendly to all that we come in contact with. And it just makes life such a better place to be in when we are friendly to one another. So I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you go out and are able to check this type of experiment out and have a little bit of fun with it. Make sure to grab an adult when you do so. And I will see you next time for our next challenge.